The purpose of this video is to show the process of removing a radiator for a first generation 96 to 2000 Toyota Rav4. Now, there are two official ways to go about doing this. The first way is the way that the official way to do it is to remove the AC condenser out of the way, and removing this AC condenser, and then getting the space to pull the radiator up. However, I don't want to go that route. I don't want to release the Freon in the air, and I don't want to have to take my car to get recharged again with the AC. So the second way to go about this, without having to touch the AC line, is the way that I'm going to explain. Okay, so it is a little more work. However, it's the way to bypass having to even touch anything with the AC system. As you can see here, it's a compact space. It's not just like a conventional car where you can just pull the radiator, lift it up, and go about your way. This one took some planning and the removal of other parts, which may seem like a lot, but in all honesty, it really was not. The first thing I did was I removed the alternator. Now, removing the alternator is very simple on this car. It's literally two bolts. The long one that holds it and the short one. And this bolt is to the power to the alternator and an electric plug. That's it. That's all it took to remove the alternator. And the belt just fell off afterwards. The second thing I did is I went ahead and I removed the whole exhaust manifold, which is right here. The exhaust manifold with the catalytic converter attached. Pretty simple. I have seen people just take the shields off. I think it's just easier to take off the whole exhaust bolt. So there's 3 bolts holding it from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And 6 bolts from the top. And there was also a bracket that also holds it in place. When you get down there, it's pretty straightforward. Also, behind this shield right here, there's 2 additional coolant lines. If your Rav4 is ever leaking from this area, it's those 2 lines. Unfortunately, I didn't know about it till after I pulled all this. So I will go ahead and order those parts from Toyota, those hoses. And I will go ahead and I'll remove the exhaust manifold again and replace these. As this is a 96, I'm sure it's been over 20 years since those hoses have been changed. So I will go ahead and I'll do that. Once the exhaust manifold is removed, you go ahead and you unbolt these buttons that hold the condenser in place, and it'll allow you some slack to move it back and forth. The next thing that was done is the fans were removed through the front. This right here, it's this bar that's bendable, and that bar essentially holds the fans in place. Remove that bar, bend it out of the way, bend it forward, and the fan should be able to come off from the inside. You slide this one to the right and you lift it up. After that, you go ahead and you remove the top radiator hose and the bottom radiator hose. Once that's done, you can go ahead and you can lift the radiator up. It's going to take a little wiggling, but that's it. And go ahead, and the install is the reversal. Pretty straightforward. I've seen people remove their bumpers and a bunch of other things, and this is the best way to do it. I think the simplest. It does take a little longer, but just take your time with it, do it right, and not have to worry about recharging your AC system. Yeah, just basic hand tools. I do have my Milwaukee power tools and other things to make the job easier. When removing the exhaust manifold bolts, be very careful, as a lot of them can be rusted and can break off. I would spray it with some WD-40 prior to starting on the job. Let it soak in, maybe even overnight. and everything should come off smoothly afterwards. But yeah, that's essentially what the job is. Just wanted to add some info for anyone else tackling this job. Um, any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you.